For my topic this week, I'd like to cover effective communication. I feel like this is the underlying theme in the chapters we've read so far in Data Science for Business. And from personal experience, I understand it to be probably one of the top three most essential skills, soft skills for a data scientist to have. Oftentimes, ideas could be lost in the mix, and being that we are still in the early stages of the data science world, most people aren't technologically oriented, especially many of the global level firms that are slow to adapt due to their bureaucratic nature. So it is very important that we effectively communicate the end idea of our concepts and our desired projects so that those who have not ventured into the realm of big data, robotics, automation, etc., can fully grasp what it is we're trying to convey. For instance, my last engagement before I left EY, we were working on a big data project, and my manager at the time was our SQL master, and I was the Python guy and SQL guy at the same time. Being an analyst level, I was doing most of the grunt work, and being a small team, he often found himself sitting next to me doing participating and sharing in the same amount of work. And what we realized was the desire to do big data analysis, obviously, which is not possible in Excel. But at the time, our directors, the client, were only comfortable with performing these tasks in Excel. Eventually, we were able to communicate that we needed to migrate the process over to a SQL database by taking exports from the client's big data querying system and then developing a reporting dashboard using Python and doing further exploratory data analysis. But further down the line, we ran into another issue, which was being able to effectively communicate the concept of big data and why certain deliverables were nearly impossible to complete in a specific time span without working 16 to 18 hours. Needless to say, we weren't very effective at communicating why 16 million rows of data is very hard to analyze in a couple of day period, and we did find ourselves working these 16, 18, 20 hour days to get the client their deliverables. And the end result being, what I realized is that if you do not effectively communicate the idea for a specific project, you're not only not going to have momentum, but if you've already built momentum, you may find yourself going on a runaway train, essentially. Personally, I experienced the same with attempting to get tools, reconciliation tools that I developed off the ground for things such as budgeting. One of the big things at EY was budgeting timesheets, which we recorded every Friday, which would then feed into a global data warehouse, and we could query that to get a specific project's overall budgeted hours per person. Now, this was broken into various dates, people, and different activity codes. The process in turn could often take 3 to 4 days depending on the size of the engagement and the duration of the engagement, because the process was simply just to run a pivot on every single person that was on the project and was affecting the bill for the month. Developing a reconciliation tool took this process from what could be a couple day period to a less than 2 minute period. However, attempting to push this tool on a firm-wide scale was ineffective due to the fact that most people cannot conceptually see a piece of the puzzle and then envision, like a chess player, the overall picture. Most people want to see the end product or a prototype near the end product, and not necessarily the components that would go into it. Despite having a tool that supplied 100% clean data and 8 different views of the data that can simply be copied and pasted into a desired user's model, the point was lost in translation for me. I was unable to communicate it to mobilize a firm-wide effort to develop essentially what would be a desktop or internet-based tool, web-based tool. However, I did get invited to specialized data analytics projects, which was the silver lining. However, again, the message here underlying is that effective communication is necessary for a data scientist. Probably one of the top 3 soft skills a data scientist could have when addressing what their study is, their hypotheses, and the overall end product.